Hey, this is Mark Washington's latest edition of 3 to Make 2, Everything NBA. We want to start out with the Jimmy Butler contract situation. You heard Pat Riley come out to get control of the situation. It's all part of his little culture thing, saying that they're not going to trade Jimmy Butler and that he's irritated that this stuff has gotten out in public. My goodness. Pat Riley, I can understand that from a certain point of view, but this is 2024. Things will get out publicly. So what I'm thinking that the Heat are betting on is that there won't be a $50+ million market for Butler in 2025, and that Butler will opt into his player option then that's worth $52.4 million. Now, you got to look at the first push in the salary cap when it comes to the new media contract. That's 2 years away, so it's almost aligned with where Butler's player option is. That's when you're going to first see the first noticeable push in the salary cap based on a new television contract. It's not like the last television contract where the NBA Players Association made sure that there was no ramping up, that they went by the old formula, and that's when you saw the massive spikes in the salary cap that allowed teams like Golden State to go out and get Kevin Durant. If that had been a sliding scale and a ramp up the way it is now, the Warriors would have never ended up with Kevin Durant. So it's a CBA thing. Like I said, I know a lot of people think at times that CBA talk is boring, but CBA talk is so prevalent now in what teams are doing that you can't avoid it. So for me, Jimmy Butler, I think that's what the Heat would like to do. Obviously, Butler would like to get his way out, but then he only wants to go to certain teams. And you saw how that worked out for Dame Lillard. That didn't work out very well for him based on where he wants to go. Now, he still ended up with a winner and obviously a contender. But never forget, Dame Lillard made it perfectly clear he wanted to be in Miami. And Portland's management made it very clear that we're not going to send you to Miami. So we'll see how that plays out. Mike Brown was fired yesterday by the Sacramento Kings, and I want to start out with how they fired him. He did the pre-practice interviews and meetings with the media. He conducted practice. He's on his way to catch the flight to LA, and then they fired him. Guys, we got to do better. This looks like the same thing they did in Chicago with the Bears and Matt Eberflus, where they waited for him to do all his media stuff, and then they fired him. Guys, if you're going to fire him in the morning. Mike Brown should not have been subjected to the way Sacramento treated him yesterday. I mean, just have some class. And some coaches came out to his defense, most notably Mike Malone over there in Denver, who has been through this with Sacramento, where he was fired there after a year and like 18 games or a year and 24 games. This was a year and handful of games. So, I mean, he has his axe to grind with that organization also. There is a lot of problems with that organization. Does De'Aaron Fox, is he worth the investment that he's going to ask for at the end of his contract? You can say that him and Brown had a rocky relationship, but if you end up with neither one, the joke's on you, right? Keegan Murray has taken a dramatic step back statistically. I don't know if it's a situation where he doesn't know his role or his role has changed, or whatever the case may be, he's a hard time adjusting, but that's also contributing. And let's just be honest. The DeMar DeRozan trade has not worked out in the way that Sacramento Kings thought that the DeMar DeRozan trade would work out. It has not had the impact on winning that they thought it would have. So 5-game losing streak, I get it. 5-game losing streak all at home, and I get that also. But Sacramento, be a little bit better. If you're going to get rid of them, you're going to get rid of them. My MVP rankings so far as of today, I think number one, it still has to be SGA. SGA is a wicked two-way player whose offensive numbers definitely impact winning. He knows when to get his guys involved. He knows when it has to be him. He has embraced it so much. And I mean, if it wasn't for the Paul George trade, SGA would not be in Oklahoma City. That's why Oklahoma City is such a great organization. I mean, when they make a trade, they make sure they get something out of it. But definitely SGA is my top number two. I know this might surprise some of you all, but number two is Giannis. Now, I'll tell you why I have number 2 being Giannis. It's because Milwaukee's season was going off the rails early in the year. They were digging themselves a massive hole. Giannis came out there and said, I'm going to not only put this whole team on my back, I'm going to put the entire organization on my back. I'm going to put this season on my back. And now Milwaukee looks like Milwaukee. And he should be rewarded for that. And that is on him. So he's my number 2. Number 3, Jokic. Jokic, once again, is putting up video game numbers. He has to. I think too much of the blame is being given to Jamal Murray right now. We get it. He's not playing well. I mean, he's been bad. It's bad for Team Canada, during the Olympics. He has been bad. But I will say this. It's the construction, too. And Denver's ownership, they should take some of the responsibility for where the Nuggets are right now and how they manage some of the contractual situation. As been said a million times, you can understand the Brown situation because that was more CBA driven. But when you have guys like Caldwell Pope and those guys that you completely mismanage their contract situation, you got to own some of that. You got to own some of that as an organization. So thank you for joining us for the latest edition of 3 to Make 2. This is Marcus Washington, MTC Media.